Welcome back to another show. We're here. It is the Hogs, Hops, and Hope podcast. I'm here with Mike and Joe. What are you guys drinking tonight?
So I switched it up from the
Okay.
last 2 weeks. I got a DC Brow Pilsner. So DC Brow is a Washington, DC brewery. So doing a little local brew here.
All right. Sounds good. What you got, Joe?
I switched it up too. I'm drinking Yingling tonight.
All right.
I didn't go very far, but it's something different.
Okay. Well, I switched it up as well. I got a Golden Road Ride On West Coast IPA. You can't see the can. I don't know why it doesn't work, but there it is, sort of. So Golden Road is a local brewery. It's right down the road from us. They got a nice selection of beers. So support a local business, right?
Yeah, nice. Yep.
Okay, so this is the quiet part of the NFL year. The draft is over, and mini camps and rookie camps haven't started yet. Although there are 2026 mock drafts out, so God help us. But I guess the big news out of Washington and for the NFL this week was the awarding of the NFL draft to Washington for the 2027 NFL draft. So the 2027 NFL draft will be held in Washington. This is the first time the NFL draft will be held in Washington since 1941. And apparently they're going to hold it on the mall because that's a nice big open space. The reports or predictions are going to be 1 million people there, which would set a draft party record. I'm not sure how this is going to play out because to the best of my knowledge, you're not supposed to have any alcohol on the mall. I guess unless they get some special privileges where they can set up drinking zones or whatever, but the draft is supposed to be one big party, so I don't know how that's going to play out. So the draft this last year was in Green Bay. Next year, I believe it's in Pittsburgh, and then in 2027 it'll be in Washington. So since that's the big news, what do you guys think about that? Are you excited? Do you care? Will you guys attend? Do you want to attend? Is this something on your bucket list? I don't know. What thoughts?
No, I won't attend. I think it's great for the city. I think I don't know. I think it's just cool that things are happening around DC when it comes to football. It feels like the last years with Snyder, no one liked Washington, didn't want anything to do with them. We didn't do anything important. I think it's great for the city. I think it's cool. I think it'll show some light on Washington fans, and hopefully our fandom will come out, and hopefully we'll be represented well.
Except for when it's overrun by Eagles fans who come down and shout down the Washington fans.
There's that. I don't know. I definitely am with Joe. I won't attend.
I know.
Look, I agree. I think it's good for the city. I mean, look, anytime a city gets a big event, brings people in, things like that, it's, tax revenue, all that. That's all good.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't really care that much. Doesn't, look, it won't change anything for the team as far as the draft.
Right.
They'll still have whatever their picks are that they haven't traded away by then. Then again, that is 2027, so we could end up getting the first round pick by then. We'll see how next year goes.
That's right. We could be picking second overall again for all we know.
But yeah, it's just kind of whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care one way or the other. Yeah, Mike, you're right. If you have events like this, and I think this last year there were 700,000 people or something like that, or maybe that was the one in Detroit the year before. There was 750,000 people showed up for the draft. I don't know why anyone personally would want to attend the draft because I don't see the draw for it. I don't see what's so exciting about it. Even younger me would say the same thing. I don't know what the big deal is, but yeah, it's not going to add anything for the team. It's fine. I don't think it doesn't say anything because about Washington, in my opinion, because the draft for the longest time, for 50 years, it was held in New York. It didn't go anywhere else. And then it was 2015, I think it was, they went to Chicago for 2 years. And then it's starting to rotate. It's been in 9 cities in the last 10 years, with the 10th year being the COVID year where everyone was remote, everybody stayed home. So I think it's just going through, I think every team's going to get an opportunity to host the draft. So I don't think it's anything special that Washington got it, or that they got it. I was arguing with some guy online that, this would have never happened with Snyder. Well, it didn't happen with anybody up until 10 years ago. Even before it was in New York for 50 years, it had only been in, I think, I looked it up, maybe 9 cities. It might have even been less than that. Might have only been 6 different cities that it had been in before that. So this is a new thing for it to start going some places. So I don't think it's a special thing that Washington got it. I just, because again, everyone else I think is going to get it. They're going to go right down the line. But hey, if it generates some revenue for the city, great. They need it because they have $1 billion to come up with to pay for their portion of the new stadium and all of that. So maybe this is what kickstarts that, right?
I mean, I get your point that everyone will eventually get it. I do think us getting it now, probably is some recognition of what's going on with the team, the excitement around the team, and I do think there is some of that.
Sure. Okay. I'll. Yeah, but I don't think we, again, the one person I was arguing with online, which, who doesn't argue with people online? That's what it's there for. He was saying Washington never got the draft because Snyder, but that's crap because no one got it.
I mean, 9 cities got it.
Well, 8 cities by the time Snyder got out. So, so I don't think it's that. Yeah, maybe it's because the excitement is here. Maybe it's because, hey, they were already in Washington announcing the stadium deal and all this. So like, hey, we're already in town. Let's go ahead and announce another big event, and that way everything can be taken care of. But it'll be interesting to me to see how they pull this off, because didn't they do a couple of years ago? They did the kickoff thing where I think Washington might have had the first game of the season, and didn't Britney Spears play at the mall or something like that? Maybe I'm thinking of something else, but I think look, it'll look cool on the mall. Sure, it's the monuments, just like we talked about last week with. That's what they want the stadium built so you can see the monuments. Well, look, there's not too many things better to have as a backdrop than the Capitol or the Washington Monument or the Lincoln Memorial, depending on how they set this up. Yeah, that will look badass. Yes, very much so. And I think that will be cool to see, the same way it's always been cool to go see the fireworks on the mall. But I don't think it's anything special, and it doesn't add anything to the team. And that's all I'm really kind of focused on is the team getting better? Is the team going to be more consistent? Is the team going to show improvement? And this doesn't add anything to that. So I'm indifferent to it, I guess. I don't hate it, but I don't care, I guess.
I mean, if you say you don't hate it, that's actually high praise from you. So, I'll take it. No, I mean, look, I'm the same. I am pretty indifferent. Like I said, for the city, it's great, and I agree. The backdrops, all of it will be very cool. So, just
and I will not be attending either, or neither, I guess is the proper word, neither, because again, I'm being in a crowd like that on the mall. Yeah, thank you, no.
Yeah, I'm like, what,
Yeah.
3 days of huge crowds on the mall. That doesn't sound like fun.
Yeah, that's not my idea of a good time.
Mm.
I'll watch it on TV and I'll say, yeah, that looks cool. And people will say, hey, isn't that where you're from? And I'll say, yeah. And yay. And that'll be it.
Mm.
So there's really nothing else going on. I guess we could
Well, it's, we got so amped for this news and the enthusiasm exuding from us about getting the draft. It's hard to talk about anything else, really.
This is all I've been focused on for the last 2 days, 48 hours. All I could think about was the NFL draft in Washington in 2 years.
In 2 years. Right.
Let the anticipation, it's building, the excitement, it's going to erupt in 2 years. Yeah, good times. I did see and this is where the part of it where the hot takes and no credentials comes in. I thought I saw a story, something that they're going to redo. So Washington's going to have a new helmet design this year. They're one of like 5 teams
for the alternate helmet, right?
From what I was reading, it was like they're going to take the black helmet, which I still don't know why Washington has a black helmet. And they're going to tweak it a little bit because I think the black helmet in the past has had the numbers on the side of it. And that maybe they're going to put the logo being the W, on the side of it instead of the numbers. So, I hate the fact that Washington wears a black uniforms. I hate the fact that they wear a black helmet, and a black helmet with numbers on the side of it is really ugly. So I don't know. Do you guys care about the uniforms at all, or does that mean anything to you?
No, I'm with you. The black uniform is just kind of, it's not one of our colors. I don't know why they did it. It was kind of neat when they showed it off in the beginning, but it was just, I don't know, like a wow factor of when they first came out with it, and it's like, wow, what the hell are you doing? So I'm not a fan of the black helmet or black uniforms, and I don't care that they're changing the helmet and putting the W on it. The W's stupid anyway. We need a better logo.
Yes.
I'm willing to concede like on the name. I don't think that's changing anytime. I'll just keep calling them. What's that?
The name's not changing. Harris has said that. He said that the owners have bought into it. The team has bought into it. Everyone around the campus has bought into it. Everyone's bought into it. Of course, he didn't mention the fans because he knows the fans haven't bought into it, but so they don't matter. So the name's not changing. But anyway, so the helmet.
Yeah, so we'll just call it Washington. From here on out, we'll just call it Washington and be done with it. But it'd be nice if they had a better logo. The W's silly. It's not even a cool looking W or anything. So
I don't mind a W. I just want a better W.
Yeah, I hate the W. Like if they want to tweak that, I'd be okay with a W, but I am on board. So I didn't realize it was only the black helmet that was changing.
Well, so I found a quick article. So this is there's going to be 5 teams: Cleveland, the Chargers, Saints, Pittsburgh, and Washington will unveil new alternate helmet this summer. Let's see. This is the first update to the Commander's helmet since 2022, all the way back in 2022. Whew, seems like forever. Let's see. It doesn't really say one way or the other. The upcoming alternate helmet is rumored to feature only subtle decal changes rather than a brand new shell color like gold or white.
All right, so it doesn't sound like much is changing anyway.
The alternate helmet drop is a part of NFL's new quote-unquote rivalries uniform initiative, which will not include NFC East teams like Washington until 2027. You know what's happening in 2027? Washington gets the NFL draft. But the
And we're
Commanders,
going to have new rivalry uniforms. Woohoo!
the Commanders' decision to tweak their helmets shows that they continue building their brand identity.
Okay, so little tweaks, right? I think we all agree they could use an overhaul of the brand in general, right? We don't like the logo, we don't like the W, we don't a lot of changes. Should they do incremental changes, or should there be a wholesale kind of keep things for another year or whatever and unveil new everything? What do you guys think?
Well, I'll tell you, going back a couple years, and maybe even when Snyder still owned the team, and you know, there's talk of trying to get a new stadium. I mean, there has been this type of thing. That I thought what they might do is unveil new uniforms when a new stadium was built, and kind of tie everything in together. Like have this big, like, okay, here's the deal: we got a new stadium, we're rocking whatever the stadium's going to be called, and new uniforms, and maybe a new logo or what have you. And someone said to me at the time, Mike, for some reason I want to say it was you, but it may not have been, that they wouldn't want to do that all at the same time. They'd want to spread it out to get as much bang for their buck as they could. So with that being said, I think, I mean, what do I want, or what do I think they should do, are two different things. What I want it to just change. I would like to have new uniforms next year and go back to the burgundy and gold that they had, like the jerseys that the three of us are wearing right now, and go with that. Obviously, it wouldn't say Redskins, but Mike, yours says Washington across the front. I like that. We can go with that, and then just run with that and come up with a new W to put on the helmet, and that. But I think they'll do things incrementally, because every time you make a change to the uniform, your uniform sales go up, your swag sales go up. You're going to change part of the uniform, sales are going to go, because there's going to be that section, a sect of fans that has to have the newest thing, regardless of what it looks like, regardless of what they think of it. They just have to have the newest thing. And so I think for profitability, the team would be smart to make a change, maybe not every year, but you know, you tweak a helmet this year, and then you come back maybe in 2 years and you make another change, and then there's something else. Then once you do the stadium, when the stadium opens, then it's even more. So, I mean, I don't know, but I think any NFL owner is just in it to make money, so they'll do incremental changes.
This might explain all the one-year contracts. We get new players every year, new jersey sales.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure.
Joe's figured it out. He unlocked it.
There it is. It'd be nice to just do it all in one fellow swoop and just be done with it. Change it all out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think, and I agree with what you're saying about, like, it would make sense to do it with the new stadium, do everything all at once, big bang, but that's 5 years out. So
Right.
I don't know.
At least 5 years out.
Yeah, right. At least. Yeah. So I don't.
But it's not as important, since we know they're not changing the name. We know that's not happening. So that's you take that out of the equation. I think they can make a subtle change, and I think this would, you know, everyone talks about the goodwill that Harris has brought to the team, with connecting with former players, the alumni, as it were, and bringing them back and getting them more involved with things. We see it at all these press conferences. There's always Darrell Green, there's always Doug Williams, there's always Riggins, all these things, and he's doing that. If he really wanted to send a bunch of goodwill to the fans, then he would change the uniform, and maybe not this year, but maybe when they break ground on the stadium, when they actually break ground, there could be something tied into it where they come out with a couple of the players, like you bring out Terry and Jaden and I don't know, someone from the defense that, assuming they're all still on the team. And then they come out wearing the new uniforms at the groundbreaking or something like that, that says, hey, this is, we're going back to RFK. We're going back to our roots. Let's go. We're going to do all of that with the uniform as well. And boom, there you go. And that gives them a year or two to come up with a new W or whatever a new logo could be for the team.
Yeah, I mean, that could work.
But I think that would bring a lot of goodwill because Harris is still in the honeymoon phase as the owner of the team. He's still popular because he's not Snyder.
Yeah. Actually, I saw something interesting the other day. Adam Peter, he was being interviewed on McAfee.
Yeah.
And before he showed up on the show, the PR team from Washington sent in some information ahead of time. And one of the things they sent in was their report card from around the league from 23 and 24. And in 23, they had a bunch of D's and F's and F minuses on some different things, like family care and things. I forget what all was on the list, but they looked bad. And, in the more recent one, things are looking up. And
right.
it was really interesting that they took the time to send out the bad report and be like, hey, we owned this. We're not trying to cover it up. We're trying to fix it. And you can see everything got better. Not everything's good yet, but everything got better. And they're heading in the right direction. And then he went on to talk about that they're building a brand new training facility or weight room, I think it was. I forget which one. But they're spending millions of dollars fixing all that up. And they removed the AstroTurf that's 20 years old from the practice facility. So it's like they're fixing things. And it's like, it's really cool to see because, that all could have been done under Snyder. And he didn't. And he would also, when it comes to those report cards, he would have been covering that shit up in a heartbeat to make sure no one could badmouth him anymore.
Well, why do you think Harris and Peters, look, when those reports came out from the league, that's the league released them to everybody. This was not a secret. This is something they
No, I know that. But it's like he wouldn't send that out ahead of time to show it off.
Right. And so why do you think Harris did that? Why do you think Peters did that?
To show that they're doing better. That they care.
It's a contrast over Snyder. It's not we're doing better. It's we're not Snyder. This is how bad the other regime was. They didn't care. So look at how great we are because we've made changes. Yeah, they've made changes. That's great. I'm not discounting that. And yeah, the field that they replaced, yes, needed to be replaced 10 years ago. I'm not disputing that. Yeah, that was actually a very big story, that replacing that practice field in Ashburn. So I'm not discounting that, but to me, it's I'm the pessimist here. Sure. This is the new regime saying, look how bad the old regime was. Let us remind you how bad the old regime was, and look how wonderful we are.
Well, they're still not wonderful, though. I mean, the grades aren't great yet.
No, they're the best ownership group in the league.
Oh, stop. They're headed in the right direction.
I mean, I get where you're coming from. It is easy to release a report card from about the team from when you didn't own it and you weren't part of it. So,
But it wasn't even Harrison Peters who released it. The league released it. That came out like a year ago. When that report came out about how bad things were, that was from the year before. That was all on Snyder. Everyone's like, oh, see, yeah, look, Snyder didn't do anything. He didn't invest any money in the facilities. He didn't take care of his players and all that. And everybody ganged up on Snyder. And that's fine. They should have. He deserved it. I'm not trying to defend Snyder by any means.
Sounds like you are, though.
No. That's because you have selective hearing.
What'd you say?
Exactly. So let me repeat yourself. So it's Snyder was horrible. He was a horrible owner. No one can dispute that. And I don't think anybody's trying to. But the same way that everybody keeps saying we need to move on from the past. Well, let's move on from the past and stop telling me what the conditions were 2 or 3 years ago, or I guess 3 years ago. I don't care. Have we made improvements? Great. Joe, you just said yourself, it's still not great. It's better, sure, okay, but it's better. Everything Snyder did was such a low bar. To say it's better than when it was Snyder is nothing. It should be better than when Snyder was here. I mean, and apparently that's not very hard to do because he was so crappy as an owner. So that's my hesitation for patting Harris and Magic and Irvin, because he's a businessman now, and the rest of the ownership group. I don't want to pat them on the back for doing things that any owner should have been doing to begin with. Like, show me something that's being done that no other team is doing, and then I'll say that's pretty cool. But right now they're playing catch up to the rest of the league, but that's fine. They should be doing that.
They bought a fixer-upper.
What, Joe? I'm sorry.
I said they bought a fixer-upper. So they're putting the money in. But what's nice is they're not putting lipstick on a pig. They are tearing the walls down and rebuilding it.
Well, they did put some lipstick on a pig because they started doing all the repairs to FedEx Field or whatever it's called.
They had to, though.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, they got poop pipes spilling sewage on people.
I'm not saying they shouldn't have done that, but that's the lipstick on the pig. You know, so then I wonder how much. So here, I mean, the announcement's been made, right? First, we had the announcement of the framework of an agreement. Less than 2 weeks later, we have the announcement of an agreement with the cost going up $1 billion. We still need the city council to vote on this. This is going to take a couple months, all this, but I already lost my train of thought. God bless. Get fired up about I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about the draft. The draft's going to be in DC in 2027. I just get so excited and flustered.
You're so excited.
I'm like, man, if we draft a kicker in 2027, that's going to be the best draft ever.
I mean, I hope we use our first pick on a kicker, but we'll do a whole show about that.
I'm telling you, I just think that Harris and the group, they're doing everything that they should be doing. They're doing everything that every other owner has been doing for the most part. Maybe not the guy in Carolina, but so I'm not impressed by that. I don't care. Give me something good and that's different, and then maybe I'll be excited. Maybe, but right now, you're improving on what Snyder did. Come on, any one of us could go in and own the team and say this is wrong. We need to be better with this. We need to be better at this than what the previous guy was. And the only reason to keep bringing up Snyder is out of spite. I mean, that's just, Harris. It's not like Harris is a first-time owner. He's owned other professional franchises. This shouldn't be anything new to him. He should know how to run a franchise. He should know what's important to players. Yeah, maybe things are a little different to NFL players than they are to NBA players or NHL players or even professional soccer players or football, since he owns a team in Europe. But he should know these things. So again, I'm not going to give him a pat on the back for doing something that should have been done. I can criticize Snyder for doing stuff, sure, but I've been told not to live in the past. So
we got to start somewhere, though. That's looking back 2 years ago, they were ranked 32nd in the league as far as this ranking. They were 32nd, and then this year they're now 11th. So it wasn't like just a small jump. I didn't realize it was that big of a jump, but he's doing the right thing. Like I'm like, yes, I understand he's in the honeymoon phase, and look, only time will tell if he's a good owner.
Yes, and I get your point that he's doing the things he should do, but also part of what he should do is publicize it the way he is. So I'm not going to criticize the team for saying we're doing the things, and I get, I don't know why people call you cynical. I don't get it, but Obviously, Joe is the more optimistic one. I'm going to be a little in the middle. I mean, yeah, they're doing the things they should do, and part of that is telling us what they're doing. And it's part of it is to generate excitement about the team. I know that doesn't work on you as well as some others, but they're
Well, my excitement from the team comes from the actual team itself on the field. That's what's exciting to me. I don't need to know how the sausage is made.
It's the off season. We got nothing else to talk about.
yeah. What the hell else we got?
What did I suddenly say? We shouldn't be talking about this?
Look, I'm also excited that they're making investments in the Ashburn facility because for a while there they talked about maybe they wouldn't stay in Ashburn, and I hope they do stay out there.
Well, and that's been a big talk as well because that land out there is so valuable,
Yeah,
and
they
that
could-
all the
another
server
data
farms
center.
could be set up there, and all that. So, but Harris is the one who said that they like having their footprint in Virginia and Maryland and DC. So if the stadium's in DC, their corporate headquarters are in Maryland, the practice facility is in Virginia. I mean, there's a part of that that makes zero sense at all, but I understand what he's saying by having a footprint in all the things. I think if he pulled the practice facility,
Wait,
the
were
training
you talking about
facility out of
corp-
Ashburn, I don't know where they would put it, first of all, unless they put it where FedEx is. That would be one possible
Well-
thing, is because they own that land. If I'm correct, if I'm not, then I'm a liar. But I believe they own that land where FedEx is. So
when they talked about it, though, it was really in terms of a new stadium. It was basically a new facility that would be the stadium, the practice, everything would be in one place, totally co-located. So, I mean, look, I'm
At
glad
the
they're not
RFK
doing
site you're talking about?
What's that?
At the RFK site you're talking about?
Well, this was before the
okay.
RFK site. It was. I mean, remember there was a period there they were looking at locations in Virginia and Maryland, and one of the things they sort of talked about, and it was rumors, whatever, but there was some talk of essentially putting everything in one place in
Right.
one of those facilities. And I'm glad they're not doing that for exactly that point. It is a DMV team, so keep the practice facility in Virginia, have the stadium in DC. But you said corporate headquarters. I'm pretty sure their corporate headquarters are in Ashburn at the facility.
they got some offices in Maryland.
Okay.
I don't know what offices, but they have offices in Maryland. And side note, look, maybe I've been away for a little too long, but in all the years that I lived in Virginia, right next to DC, we never ever used the term DMV to describe the area. Never. When did that become the norm?
Decades ago. It's been a while.
It's not decades, because I haven't been gone decades.
Definitely decades. You may not have used it, but it's been the DMV for a while.
No, it's the stupidest thing ever.
Okay.
And anyway, why would you
off my
refer to the
lawn.
area you live in as the place where everybody hates to go?
Well, that's a great point.
I think it's a legitimate point, is what it is. That's very legitimate
A legitimate opinion.
point. Anyway, so yeah, so they're all spread out across the Washington metropolitan area.
See how much quicker it is to just say the DMV?
Yeah, saved all that time. Yeah, and you probably always take the elevator because you think it's quicker to go up the elevator for 3 or 4 floors than it is to go up the stairs. But hey, whatever.
Should we change it right here now? Call it the VDM?
Yeah, why does Maryland get ahead of Virginia? Hello,
I don't know, the alphabet maybe?
whatever. Like that's ever been important for anything. But anyway, so I don't know. But they're not going to move out of Ashburn. I don't think it would make sense, because the other thing you'd have to deal with, if they move the training facility out of Ashburn and put it anywhere else, put it next to the new stadium, whatever, I mean, there's not room to put all the practice fields there, but just for the sake of argument, put it there. Put it where FedEx Field is. I know it's not called FedEx. I don't care. Put it in that site over in there. Oh, I'm going to guess that at minimum 90% of the team would then have to move.
Mhm.
Now, I
Well,
realize these are football players and they all make pretty decent money. But as we all know, as because we've all moved at least once in our lives, more than once actually, moving is a big pain in the ass. And I wouldn't want to do it. I don't want to do it again. I got one move left in me in my life. I figure that's about it. That's why I don't see that happening. I think they'll do something else with the land where the current stadium is, but maybe they'll develop it like they did with the Cap Center. The Cap Center became a mall or something like that, or that area became a mall. But I don't know.
They could do something similar to what they did in Richmond for 10 years with their spring training facility. I mean, maybe they could put something in Maryland for a little bit for the few weeks that they're there to, stake a claim in Maryland and keep the DMV all included.
Well, I mean, their training camp used to be in Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Well, they were in Richmond for a couple years. Were they in Richmond for 10 years?
From 2013 to 2022, so 9
Wow.
years.
Okay. I didn't realize it was that long.
I didn't either. I was trying to remember, and I just looked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they could do something like that if they really wanted to include Maryland after they move the stadium.
But that's part of that is to expand or keep your fan base. So would there be a reason to go into Maryland that close to?
Just to appease the M.
I'll let them go to Baltimore. Although
Hey, they got rid of their kicker.
I did see one report that said the Ravens are happy if Washington builds a stadium in DC. That way they can stay. That they're the only football stadium in Maryland.
I mean, it's true. So, okay.
So yay, Colts.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this one. How many references or comments Rob has made that prove he cannot move on from things from the past? He does not deal well with change.
It's not a question of moving on. It's just throwing out cultural references for people that may not know. The younger generation, they released the team, Washington, the Commanders. They released the new draft picks and everything, and the numbers they were going to be wearing at training camp. Now, these are not necessarily the final numbers they're going to be wearing, the jersey numbers, the final jersey numbers they're going to be wearing once the season starts, but it's the numbers they were issued so far. And one of the guys was given the number 56. Now, see, if I ask Joe who wore 56, he'll say LeVar Arrington.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And Mike, you'd probably be the same way.
Yep.
But see, that's not 56 to me. That's Len Haas, who had a much longer and much better career wearing 56 than LeVar ever did, and LeVar can't hold a candle to Len Haas. So it's not living in the past. It's just trying to educate people. And I got into a disagreement with the guy because he's like, "That's LeVar's number." I was like, "Well, it's Len Haas's number," and he got all pissy with me just because I pointed out that someone else actually wore 56 before LeVar Arrington, because he's like, "In my 40 years of life, that's who I know wore 56." So, the franchise did exist before you, general term, were born. So sorry for making references to things that might have happened before you were born. Again, you being general term. I don't want to just single you out, Mike.
Right, I'm younger than you. It's fine. Okay, people know that.
I like that the Browns are playing in Baltimore.
I'm starting to think though, as we're talking here, we will. I'll use your phrase from earlier,
Congratulations.
Joe. What's that?
Congratulations. I'm starting to think.
For thinking. We may need a new segment on this podcast. And we'll call it "Get Off My Lawn," where we just let Rob do a grumpy old man rant about something. And as we've been sitting here, I looked it up. The term DMV has been used for about 30 years and was popularized in the early 2000s.
Okay. Popularized in the early 2000s. See, and that, so
25
that,
years ago.
so that's less than decades. If it's been popularized, that's less than decades.
Is it 25 years?
Well,
Sounds like it's
maybe
2.5
20.
decades.
Yeah. Decades, multiple. That's correct. I'll even give you 2005. It's still decades.
I still think it's stupid.
That's
That's
fine. You
fine.
can think that.
That's okay.
There's another word I would use, but I won't. But
We're keeping it clean here.
I'm only on one beer, so cheers to me. But I mean, that's really about it. That's going on. This is the quiet time of the season, of the I guess of the NFL year, not necessarily the season. Speaking of the season, I think the schedule's supposed to be released in a week and a half or so.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting. Everyone gets all excited about that. I really don't care. We already know who we're playing. I don't care when we're playing people. So shocker that I don't care. We know who we're playing. That's the biggest thing, and we know where we're playing them. So other than that, I don't. It doesn't make a difference to me. Again, I don't hate it. I just don't care. But
Okay.
We'll save that for when that actually gets announced.
For when that drops. Yeah.
Yeah, when the schedule drops, maybe we'll get some spoilers. About who's playing on Christmas Day and who's playing on Thanksgiving and who gets all the Prime games that I won't watch since I don't have Prime, and
Yeah. All the exclusive streaming services that you have to pay for each one.
I'm gonna have to come up with some more email addresses so I can sign up for my free 7-day account so I can watch the game. Good times. It was better when all the games were just on network TV and that was it.
Yeah.
We know. And you would pick it up with your antennas. You had the little foil on the top of your.
Never had foils because we had a rooftop antenna.
Oh, you were a fancy
Of course,
house.
I should say that if that was still the case, I would not get to watch any Washington games unless they were a national game. So
It's true.
I enjoy spending several $100s a year to be able to watch my team.
Most of them.
You subscribe to Sunday Ticket, I should be able to watch every game. But
I totally agree. Oh my God, don't get me started on Sunday Ticket.
So
that'll be my get off the lawn rant.
Well, we still have to discuss at some point. Well, I guess we don't have to, but maybe we could discuss the whole betting on sports and how all the FanDuels and DraftKings and all this have infiltrated all of professional sports and just ruined everything as far as I'm concerned. But that is a topic for another day.
And we know the name of the segment now.
Yeah, the headline will be about how there's been a rash or a severe increase in gambling addiction across the country, and people are going bankrupt because they think they can solve all their problems by gambling on sports. But so this is probably a good place to end, I guess. But the big news is, I mean, this is what considered big news. The NFL draft in 2027 will be in Washington. Apparently, will be on the National Mall. We'll have a backdrop of, like I said, either the Washington Monument or the Lincoln Memorial or the Capitol or something. Who knows exactly where they're going to set it up. I think they should have it somewhere around the reflecting pool, so when players get drafted, they can jump into the pool and celebrate like some of the golfers do when they win tournaments. I think that would be good TV. Do that.
Yeah.
And then they can hug Roger Goodell and get him all wet. So, you guys got anything else you want to throw out here at the end? Anything you want to end on?
Nope, nothing else for me.
Joe?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, then I guess this wraps up another show. Thanks for tuning in and for watching, for listening. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all that fun stuff, because you got to feed our fragile egos. Until next week, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.